back. So I already did this video for power forwards and I was pretty pleased with it. In fact, I was like extremely excited because it's like probably after shooting guards my favorite position purely because of the raw power. Remember, I said what I look for in dunkers is three things. All right, let's review: flair, power, and posters. So power forwards, they got the two things that I love the most on pure and utter lock: the power and the posters, but especially the power. I mean, it's in their name, power forwards, right? The four. This position, they say today in positionless basketball that it's getting phased out, right? Like growing up, the most dominant power forwards were Tim Duncan, of course, the GOAT, Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, Chris Webber. These guys today would all play centers because the game has gotten a lot, smaller, right? The actual true traditional center, the blocking range, paint protector, that kind of center is getting phased out of the league. I mean, Houston had arguably the best rim runner in the NBA, and they let him go, and now they're like, I don't even know what they're doing. Chris Tucker is center, and Covington's playing power forward. Dude would be a shooting guard in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? Like, the NBA is weird now, you know what I'm saying? They're just moving forward, I guess. The game's changing. But, like, power forwards, they have, at least traditionally, they would be a little bit smaller than the center, but they would have much better shooting and they'd have a little bit of a face-up game. That was the whole thing about them. They'd still be in the paint, but they had a face-up game. They had middies, right? But the guys I'm talking about, they are, aside from centers, which is going to be the next video, these guys, their whole thing is purely about force, power. Like, they're throwing it down hard, right? Hard. That's their whole thing. And, like, they're in the paint, so they're seeing bodies, people contesting all the time. So you're seeing a lot of posters. That's what they're all about, power and posters. You know what I'm saying? So I wrote it down because when I made my other video, I left out like a few very, very notable names to the point that I just couldn't, I had to redo the video. There's no question about it. I consulted a couple of dunk gurus, you know what I'm saying? They know who they are. And I just felt disgusted the fact that I missed these names. One of the dudes legitimately has an argument for being the best ever dunker. Like, how do I forget him? I was thinking about him before I started this whole series, yet he just slipped my mind for whatever reason. First guy we're starting with, though, is I'm gonna try to talk about these guys in order of them being in the league and what they've done in the league. So the first guy we're talking about is Charles Barkley. We're talking about power forward, but I'm going to what is arguably the most unique and position-defying power forward. Guy's 6'6", in the 90s and 80s. You know what I mean? Back when, dude, Mark Eaton was still in the league. Kareem was still in the league. Shaq, Hakeem. Like, this guy was in the league in his prime during the golden age of centers. 6'6". Same height as Michael Jordan. There's literally a picture of them looking eye to eye, man. This guy's averaging like 13, 14 boards a game. At 6'6", guy was like 300 pounds, though. He was just wide. He was just weird. He's a weird guy. But he did it because he was athletic as hell, man. Like, a lot of people don't know because arguably now he's more famous for being a talking head. Some fat dude making jokes on TV. Like, that's what a lot of people know him as. But this guy in his prime, my God. He is the prototype to another guy we'll speak on later. The last guy we'll talk about. He's the prototype. He was the reason we think this other guy could be all-time great is because we've seen it before, you know? Charles Barkley in transition was just unstoppable because he was like super fast, high vertical, and pure raw speed. He was jamming it down, you know what I'm saying? Like very, very hard. There's one clip where he just goes coast to coast and just dunks with like all the power in the world. It made no sense because like I say he's 6'6", right? But like the way he dunks it, because like it has to be because of his body mass or what. I don't know what it is, but the way he dunks it is like, nah, you shouldn't be doing that. I don't get it. That's Charles Barkley, an absolute animal at 6'6", power forward. That's the first guy we'll talk about. He bucked the trend. Second guy we'll talk about is another guy who reigned in the 90s, the Rain Man himself, Shawn Kemp. Shawn Kemp is known for a lot of things, you know? How many kids does that guy have? Like when I think of Shawn Kemp, like aside from his dunking resume, which needs no introduction, I'll get into it, but like the fact that he came back after the lockout fat as hell on the Cavs. I mean, he still put up numbers hilariously for a little while. He's still like, but like he lost all his weight. He had, you know, other issues off the court, you know, so Shawn Kemp is also known for that. But for the most part, Shawn Kemp has a very, 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 very great argument for being the GOAT power forward dunker. Absolutely. He's top 3, no question. No question. I mean, if you look at his posters, him and, he's the prototype Blake, right? When Blake came into the league, it was just like, that's Shawn Kemp again. Shawn Kemp all over again. That was his comparison. And like Blake, who played along with the Hall of Fame point guard feeding him those lobs, so did Kemp. Kemp had Peyton, the glove. And if you watch highlights of Kemp's dunks, a lot of times it's Gary Payton just lobbing it up, you know, just throwing it from half court, from wherever, and Seattle just exploding, you know what I'm saying? Like, Seattle was the Oracle before the Oracle. They were very loud because they got to see Shawn Kemp and Gary Payton every night. Wow, I wouldn't, like, that's like probably the most exciting transition duo of all time. Absolutely in the conversation, you know. So, Shawn Kemp has a lot of famous dunks on Gatling, on Dennis Rodman, where Dennis Rodman gives him props like, hey, you got me. What can I do? You're Shawn Kemp, right? But his most famous dunk, everybody knows it. It's the Lister Blister, right? It's a dunk so famous it has a damn name. How many dunks can you say that about? You can't. And he gets the ball around, let's say, I think it's like near half court or like around the 3-point line maybe. And he just barrels into the rim like he's holding it, he's clutching it like a running back, right? Dunks, flails his legs out. This dude's already dead. Alton Lister, he's just on the ground. He's out of there. This guy is most famous for this, being on the ground, getting dunked on. And then Kemp does the pointing. See, that's the thing about Kemp that separates him. Is his celebrations, his flair, his swag, what he did after the dunks, the way he moved his legs around. Like, he had his own style. Like, literally, like, this guy, I don't know what he does with his leg, but he flicks it. Like, it's like when he jumps off the court, it's like, when he jumps off the ground, I should say, it's like He has so much raw power that his body like spazzes out. That's the best way I could describe it, right? But he did a lot of celebrations. He was showboating. He was getting the crowd into it. Like Sean Kemp couldn't do half the shit he did back then today because he would get teched right away. Like dudes stare at a player for 2 seconds and they're getting teched. This dude Sean Kemp was basically clowning dudes on the regular, and it just made it way more exciting. It would take like a dunk that would be like, yeah, that's a pretty great dunk, to, oh my God, just because of the way he reacted, right? We got Kemp. Kemp has an argument for best ever. A very good argument. Like if someone said Sean Kemp's the GOAT, I'd be like, yeah, I see that. Okay. I won't even argue. I'm like, that's respectable. Then we're going with KG. Kevin Garnett, man. Kevin Garnett came out of high school, straight out of high school, prepped to pro, because he's just a freak of nature. Dude is so big that he lied about his height to get shorter so he wouldn't have to play center. Dude's a straight freak, an absolute freak. He's like lanky as hell, yet super strong at the same time. Has a high eyes vertical, very, very long, which allowed him to play on the perimeter, defend like every position. He was just an athletic freak. And with that came his powerful dunks. Mostly because of his reach, though. He had a lot of length. So like when he would do windmills, or he would like in the All-Star game when he was young, you know what I'm saying? And Kobe's giving him these alleys and he just like stretched out and you're like, holy crap, is he gonna finish that? Oh yeah, he finishes it. The thing about Garnett, I didn't have him in my other video. He's one of the guys I didn't have in my other video, is because he reminds me of Stromile. Or I should say Stromile reminds me of him. It's just that Stromile was even more athletic. A little smaller, about the same build, but Stromile must have had over a 40-inch vertical. Had to, dude. Because like this guy, I would say, aside from Aaron Gordon, he is probably the best contest dunker in terms of power forwards. Just the way that he dunked. Double windmill, like two-hand windmills between the legs. His 360s, like the stuff he's doing is like high-level shooting guard dunks in a power forward frame. Makes no sense. Makes no damn sense. And of course, his best dunk is on Tyrese Thomas, where he does a pump fake. Dude can't shoot, so I don't know why Tyrese bid on that. Tyrese tries to go back to stop the dunk, and yeah, man, you gotta watch it. It is, in my opinion, a top 10 poster of all time, without question. I look at that dunk probably at least once a year, you know. I'm serious. Like, I go out of my way to look for that dunk. Like, that's how legendary it is. Like, I just gotta see it. Matter of fact, after this, I'm probably gonna go look. I'm gonna go upstairs, gonna search it up. I'm gonna watch it. Matter of fact, I'm gonna watch a whole Stromile mix because he's that nice. You know what I'm saying? So Stromile definitely deserves a mention. Let's go into, I guess, I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to leave a guy out that I had in my other video. It doesn't, you know, he's all right, but it was Josh Smith. I'll give him a couple props. It's just, I didn't really like his dunking style, but he's a lefty, very powerful. He was in the era where tweeners were still considered, what's going on? Tweener, you know, it was a bad term. Now a tweener doesn't even exist. It's positionless basketball. If you're a tweener, that's a great thing. But like, I remember Josh Smith, like as a small forward, transitioning to become a small ball forward. Like I remember that happening, thinking this dude's not a power forward, dude. He's not Garnett, he's not Duncan, they're power forwards. He's not Weber, he's just a small forward, you know. The game changed. I just didn't particularly like his dunking style. I don't know what it is, I just didn't. I really didn't. But I will give him his mention. It would be very wrong not to because he was very, very athletic. All right. Let's go right into it. Blake. Blake came into the league, and since Blake, I mean, against now Zion, but like, dude, like Blake came into the league in 2011 and just, he took the league by storm, dude. Like he came in 2010 power forward right away, which is extremely rare. He's one of the best statistical rookies of all time. Definitely of the last 20 years. He came into the league as like, the league is like 2010, there's no Blake. 2011, Blake's a fixture. Like that's how like he just took the league by storm, the way he dunked. Like, I don't even know if it was his first game, but it was like his first few games in New York where he fully established himself as a superstar attraction. When he was dunking on Gallinari, the spin into the dunk on his head, and then obviously Mozgov, right? It was the Mozgov dunk where he didn't even touch the rim, but like he was so high, got a little bit of lift off him that he just threw it down. It was mind-boggling. It was game-changing. We ain't seen shit like that before. And he just kept going and going and going. Shout out to Blake, because like he used to just be called this athletic freak dunker. That's all people thought he was, you know what I'm saying? No. Actually, he has like some of the best handles ever for the position. Became one of the best passers in the position. Became a great shooter. Could do it all. He's 100% complete. And I'd argue the most complete offensive power forward ever. Not the best. Remember, not the best, but perhaps the most complete. So shout out to him. And he has a very strong argument for being the GOAT power forward. Him, Camp so far, had the strongest arguments. So, Aaron Gordon, AG. So AG got robbed in the dunk contest by many people believe that in 2016, the best dunk contest ever in my opinion. He also got robbed in my videos because my goofy, dumbass somehow forgot him. I forgot Aaron Gordon, man. Like, when will the disrespect end for this dude? How the hell do I forget Aaron Gordon? Listen, Aaron Gordon has the strongest, easily the strongest dunk contest resume of any power forward ever. Like, dude has a claim for being the best dunk contest participant ever. He never won. And it's like, yeah, his posters are weak. I can't even name a single poster he's done. Like, his best dunk in game that off the top of my head is a windmill. I want to say it was against the Lakers. Like, it was one of the most powerful windmills I've ever seen in my life. I love that dunk, but that's it. I can't really think of anything else that pops out to me in games. Like, so his in-game dunking isn't really anything to raise. Certainly isn't approaching Kemp and Blake. Not even close. But dunk contest, he's blowing both of them out of the water. Goofy Blake Griffin did a honey dip that we've seen Vince Carter do like fucking 10 years earlier. As a shooting guard, okay, Blake. And then dunked over a car, the Kia crap. I think that was the year where DeRozan did the sick one-hand reverse scoop windmill, whatever the hell that thing was. It was 1 billion times better than anything Blake did. But, you know, the Kia sponsorship, yeah. Yeah, so Aaron Gordon, his dunk contest in 2016 is freaking legendary. It's unbelievable, dude. Dude sat in the air, man. The Karl Malone. Did the Karl Malone. Scoop windmill. Karl Malone. The scoop windmill Karl Malone. The double pump as a power forward. How many players could do that, much less a power forward? It's inconceivable, the stuff he was doing. Inconceivable. And I forgot him. Then we're going into another guy that I didn't mention in my other video, but that one was conscious. I didn't forget him. It's too early, I thought. But it's not. It's really not. It's really not. He's a guy who is on pace, I would say, to be the best power forward dunker of all time. It's Zion. We talked about Barkley. Remember Barkley? 6'6" dude doing all that back in the day, the land of the Giants. Well, meet goddamn Zion. Less Giants, more athletic. What do you think is happening to the league right now? Watched him in high school against little children, and it was just a massacre. People literally, they couldn't believe it because they're like, nah, there's no way this is going to translate to college. They're going to match his size. Goes to college, has the most dominant offense that college ball has seen in who knows how long. You probably got to go back to Kareem or something. I think he was average. I think like his PER was like in the 40s, which is like, I never seen that before in my life. I didn't even know that it went that high. I literally didn't know it went that high. You look at his numbers and you're like, what the fuck? What is this? And then you watch him play and it's just like, oh wait, nah, we gotta wait till the NBA because this ain't any different than high school. He's still like, he's too much to handle. Low-key, I don't think he's a human being, but that's for another thing. I don't know what he is. He's not a human. He might be some lab-created fucking, I don't know what he is, but I hesitate to call him a human being. Just watch Zion. Just watch Zion. His windmills are insanely powerful and pitch perfect. His 360, my God. I've never seen a more powerful 360 in my life. Okay? You throw him an alley-oop, like, bruh. Just throw the alley-oop in the general vicinity of the net. It doesn't even have to be in the general vicinity. Like, he'll somehow get it, man. I think the only time I seen this dude, they threw a shit pass, and it bounced off the backboard. He still got it, contorted his body, still dunked it. I was like, what? What? Yeah. Then he gets to the NBA, same story, dude. They still can't stop him. You see what he did to poor Knox on the Knicks? He stripped the ball from Giannis. Giannis is like the most physically dominant player in the NBA. He made him look like a little child for a sec. He's 19. I think he just turned 20. I don't know. But, like, he's still a child. He's still growing. Okay? I don't know what that guy is. But he is on pace to be the greatest power forward dunker of all time. He's Charles Barkley on all the roids. All the roids. You know? So even though I didn't mention him, I had to like bring up the potential GOAT. And seriously, it's just injuries and time for him. I think he will be the GOAT. He's just on, he is unbelievable, man. He is unbelievable. Zion. But yeah, that's why I love this position. There's so many guys. I don't even know who's the best. Take your pick. Is it Blake? Is it Kemp? Or is it Aaron Gordon? Whatever you want. If you want the posters and the flair and just the swag out, you go Kemp. If you want I don't even know, like Blake's just like Kemp, just yeah, they're like on the same tier. Because like I was gonna say like what separates him from Kemp, and I can't even tell you what it is. They're just like the same, basically. It's just low-key, I like Kemp's dunks better. I just do. I like his style better. I really do. I would pick Kemp over him. Honestly, I would. And then there's Aaron Gordon and what he's done in the dunk contest. He is arguably the best, too. I don't know. Personally, I think it's Kemp. Then I would go Gordon. Then I would go Blake for 3. And Zion, bearing health, he's going to overtake all of them. And we out.